2 years ago this May, my mom passed away from small cell carcinoma. Small cell carcinoma is an anaplastic and highly malignant carcinoma composed of small cells with very scanty cytoplasm. You're probably thinking to yourself, what is that? And that's exactly what I thought whenever my mom told me what she was diagnosed with. Small cell carcinoma is usually associated with the lungs, but can be associated with prostate and cervical cancer also. When being associated with the lungs, it is almost always caused by smoking. Although asbestos has a big role in it, most cases are from smoking. It's mostly found in men and attached with a very small success rate. In my mother's case, it started in the reproductive area, and that's the only place it was when the doctors detected it. Hers had nothing to do with lungs, and small cell carcinoma that doesn't have anything to do with the lungs is very rare, and like lungs, is a very aggressive cancer. After they located the spot, which was on her uterine wall, she went in for aggressive chemotherapy and radiation, and hoping that the spot would vanish. And the spot got a lot smaller, but the doctors noticed a lot more spots coming up after that. This cancer is known to spread fast once it is formed, and that's exactly what happened with my mom. After the other spots were detected, it seemed like chemo just wasn't doing the job that it was supposed to. The biggest unusual thing about small cell carcinoma is that it's not staged like other cancers. Most cancers have stages marked with numbers, while small cell carcinoma is simply limited or extensive. Limited means that it's just in the lungs and nowhere else, and extensive means that it moves throughout the body and then it goes into the brain or the spinal cord or wherever else. The type my mom had actually had stages, and she was in the second when she was diagnosed. Survival rates for small cell carcinoma are very small. The median survival rate with treatment for limited is 14 to 20 months, and extensive medium is 8 to 13, which is the amount that my mom had after she was diagnosed. When being diagnosed with small cell carcinoma, treatment varies with everyone. The first thing that determines the treatment is the stage you're in when the cancer is detected. Of course, if it is detected early, they will try to do chemotherapy and radiation to eliminate the cancer. The problem with small cell is that it's very common to relapse. 40 to 50% of patients with limited stage may survive for 2 years with no guarantees. People with cancer that is associated with lungs are more apt to the chemo working than the people that get it from cervical cancer or prostate cancer. There isn't really any reason for surgery if it stems from the lungs because the chemotherapy is so responsive and effective. My mother went through 2 surgeries with her cancer in hope of removing it. While both were successful in removing the cancer, it would just spread and pop up in other spots, bigger and in a worse spot than before. It started in the reproductive area, and then it moved to the lymph nodes. And after the lymph nodes, it moved into her bloodstream, and we knew after that it would be really fast. After the bloodstream, it went into her lungs, and then her spinal cord, and then it ended up in her brain. After it went into her brain, we knew that it wouldn't be too long after that, and she was hospitalized, so we took her out. Sure enough, right when we took her out on a Saturday night, she passed away the following Monday morning. The main point of this is that I would urge everyone to get checked up on a regular basis. The difference between life and death is being aware, and you cannot be aware if you don't get checked. My mom went in for a yearly checkup, and that's how she found out that she had it. She actually went in and had a normal doctor's visit, and they said everything looked good. And then the next day they called and said that they found a spot and that she needed to get tested. And that's when she found out that she had the cancer. Mostly people that smoke, I would definitely urge to get their checkups because they're the people that basically mean the most. When talking about death, there is nothing to play with.